When you think about justice, what comes to mind? Probably gavels, courtrooms, prison bars, right? But what if that whole approach, the one focused on punishment, is totally missing the point? Today, we're going to deconstruct that idea and ask a pretty big question. What if justice isn't about punishing, but about repairing? So, that brings us to a really fundamental question, maybe the fundamental question. How do we even measure if a justice system is working? I mean, is it just about how good it is at punishing people? Or is there something deeper, something more humane we should be looking for? This single question is going to be our guide through this whole explainer.
And this quote, this really sets the bar, doesn't it? The goal isn't just to punish. It's about restoring balance, repairing the harm that's been done, and, this is key, doing it all without stripping away someone's basic dignity. So let's hold on to that idea, that ideal, as we start to dig into how our current systems actually stack up.
All right, first things first. Before we can get into what's broken, we need a baseline. What is a justice system even supposed to do? Like, what's its actual job? Okay, so at its core, a justice system is basically society's tool for taking our ideas about right and wrong and turning them into real enforceable action. And it's really got three main jobs. Job number one, keep the state's power in check. That's a big one. Job number two, settle disputes between people. And job number three, respond when someone does something wrong. Now, the real trick, as we're about to see, is how different systems try to juggle all three of those things. Okay, so keeping that ideal in mind, let's take a look at the two big models for justice that you see around the world. And what's really interesting is that, well, they both kind of miss the mark, but for completely different reasons. So what we've got here are two totally different ways of thinking. First, there's the adversarial model. Think US and UK. It's basically set up like a contest, a battle. The goal is just to win. And, in any contest, the person with more resources, more money, usually has a massive leg up. Then you've got the continental model. This is more like everyone's working on one big shared document, led by a judge who's actively investigating. It solves that resource problem, but it introduces a new one. All that power gets concentrated right in the hands of the state. But here's the thing, it's not just about the rules and the structure. It turns out the whole vibe, the psychological atmosphere inside the courtroom, is just as important, maybe even more so, than which model you're using. And way too often, what's that vibe? It's straight up intimidation. It's this might makes right kind of place where people are so scared of the court's power that it actually stops the truth from coming out, instead of helping it. And this right here is so important. The power a court has, that gravity it has, it shouldn't come from making people afraid. It should come from being competent, from being fair. People need to feel safe enough to actually tell their story. Because, like this quote says, your basic human rights don't just disappear the second you walk through the courtroom door. Okay, but it's not all bad news. Not at all. There are actually systems out there that are getting a lot of this right, and they give us a little peek at what's possible. So let's take a look at probably the most famous one, the Nordic model. So the whole Nordic model is built around one really powerful idea, normality. The idea is that going to prison is only about taking away your freedom. It's not supposed to be a place for extra punishment or suffering. And that one change shifts the entire focus to things like education and rehabilitation. And you just can't argue with the results. We're talking incredibly low rates of people reoffending, and the public actually has a lot of trust in the system. But even this system, as good as it sounds, has a major weakness. It's Achilles' heel, really. They use what are called lay judges, basically non-professionals from the community. And look, on paper, community involvement sounds great, right? But in reality, it can open the door for all sorts of personal biases and popular opinions to creep in, which really gets in the way of a professional, objective search for the truth. Okay, so let's recap. We've seen the big problems with the adversarial and continental systems, and we've even found a crack in the Nordic model. So what if? What if we could take the best parts of all of them and mash them together? Well, that brings us to a new idea, a restorative solution. This whole new way of thinking stands on four main pillars, and each one is specifically designed to fix a problem we've already talked about. First up, professional fact-finding. This gets rid of the biased lay judges. Second, open file disclosure. This fixes that whole who has more information problem from the adversarial system by making sure everyone sees all the evidence. Third, an egalitarian courtroom. This gets rid of that intimidation factor. And finally, number four, restorative sentencing. This means prisons are all about rehabilitation and sentences can actually be shortened if a person makes real progress. It's a total game changer. So when you put all that together, what do you get? Well, it's not just a tweak here or there. It's a fundamental shift in the entire philosophy of what justice is even for. And the key to this new approach is the order in which things happen. It has to be a specific sequence. Step 1, always, is getting the facts right. An accurate, unbiased investigation. You have to start there. Only then, once you have the facts, can you talk about accountability. And only after you've established facts and accountability can you get to the real goal, a response that actually repairs the harm.
So the end goal, the vision, is a system that you can actually understand, one that's psychologically humane, and one that is just relentlessly laser-focused on repairing harm. A system where the main goal isn't punishment, it's restoration.
And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. If you could have a system that actually repairs harm, helps victims heal, and rehabilitates offenders, isn't that a truer, deeper, more meaningful kind of justice than a system whose only tool is punishment?